Hello again, lovelies, and welcome back to the second installment of this special Tomb Raider Tuesday double bill. That's right, you missed one. We just got done with a tour of Croft Manor. Go on, back you go. I'll wait for you. No, go, you take your time. It's not like we got to go all the way to bloody China or anything, is it? I'll just sit here and have a couple of biscuits. What have I got left in the tin here? Fuck me, she's been at these chocolate bourbons again. How many's left? 2, 3, 4. 4? She's had 5! 5 of my chocky bourbons! I'll fucking strangle her! Let's check out the introductory cutscene before we embark all proper like on our long and difficult journey into Tomb Raider 2, released little more than a year after the first game on Halloween 1997. We're in ancient China, and the local peasantry, aided by a gang of hardcore Tibetan battle monks, have risen up against the tyranny of the Dragon Emperor, who is using a mythical artifact known as the Dagger of Xian to transform himself into a fire-breathing murder lizard. Now, the Dagger of Xian won't stand for a scratch of the finger or a little nick under your nose while you're shaving with it. No sir. To transform into the dragon, you must plunge the fucking thing into your goddamned heart, which, as you can see there, renders it alarmingly susceptible to theft. Now, a couple of points to make here while we sit through this rather unnecessarily long sequence that features the monks returning the dagger to its hiding place somewhere deep within the Great Wall of China. First, if you happen to skip or miss this initial FMV, which doesn't play straight off the bat from selecting new game, it comes before the main menu, so if you've accidentally nixed it trying to skip through the core and IDOS logos, fuck you I guess. If you don't see this, good luck figuring out how to beat the final boss, because nowhere else in the entire game does it ever tell you that you kill the dragon by manually removing the dagger from its heart. You will be shooting that fucking thing forever, given the sheer amount of ammo that it's soaking up the benefit of the doubt, because shit, it's the final boss. So there's that for you. Enjoy. Second, if removing the dagger from the dragon's heart kills it, and by extension whoever it was before, how the fuck are you supposed to turn back? I mean, even if your dragon form is a time-sensitive kind of deal, like you get 10 minutes of dragon time before it wears off, you're still coming back with a dagger through your fucking heart! What the fuck? Did you just keep it in there? Give it a wiggle when you want to be a dragon again? Does it work on dogs? Because I feel like that would be the safer option here. Get a loyal dog that does anything you tell it without question, and then utterly betray it by stabbing it through the heart and turning it into a dragon. Good dog, good boy. Fetch Tibet. Go get it, boy. What happens if you miss your heart and catch yourself in the long? Did you get to be like Peach Dragon at least? Well, there you go. That ended well for nobody, and it's about to end a whole lot less wellier as we get ourselves moving here. This isn't like the first game where Lara gets hired by anybody. I mean, you're never really told where she found out about the Dagger of Xian. We just cut straight to Lara bearing down on the Great Wall of China, ready for another day of grand larceny. Our pilot can't find anywhere good to land, so Lara takes the opportunity to escape without paying him. And so our adventure begins in front of this large rock. But the rock is a trap! The rock is a distraction, and the ground gives away, hurling you down into this dark cave. Damn you, Brad Vickers! Your first opponent of the game shows up as you enter this little pool here. South Chinese Tiger. Ooh, he's excited to see me. And I am him, since he's been extinct in the wild since the 70s. What a find! Not all treasure glitters, lovelies. There'll be another one to deal with in a couple of moments, but for now, we'll be scaling this small section of the Great Wall itself to reach a guardhouse station at the top. So, the Dagger of Xian is our new ancient super weapon that we're chasing down for our mantelpiece. Xian meaning god or divine being, not to be confused with Xi'an, which is the oldest of the 4 great ancient capitals that lies in the middle of the Shuangzhou Plain in northwestern China. Here's another big change to the series with our first secret of the level. Secrets are now represented by 3 dragon statuettes per level, 1 stone, 1 jade and 1 gold. You have to find all 3 of them for it to be worth anything in terms of ammo or medipacks. Upon grabbing what's usually the gold statue as the final one, the game will reward you with a shed load of goodies straight into your inventory. So, on the one hand, you get nothing for being a part-timer here, but on the other, at least you don't have to spend like 5 minutes of your run trying to line yourself up with the 5 Uzi clips and 3 medipacks you've uncovered scattered all over the fucking place. It's a much tidier little system. Now, this level is a little bit naughty in that it does very little to prepare you for the rest of the game to come, because the Great Wall, with all said and done, is classic Tomb Raider. Jumping around, finding keys, throwing switches, shooting endangered animals in the face. Vast graphical improvements aside, you don't feel like you've blasted off from the surface of the first game and crashed yourself down on an alien planet. But that will immediately change in the next stage, because the first thing that will truly hit you like an oversized tit in Tomb Raider 2 is that there are a lot more human enemies to wipe out, and a large percentage of them have guns that will tear you to bastard pieces if you let them. A few giant crows to send off to the great nest in the sky out here. Nothing endangered about them, at least. For now. I never even knew they were crows for ages until I killed one up close. Thought they were condors or some shit. And we get a death bounce out of it too. You gotta have a bounce before you die, haven't you? You only get to do it once. The three-legged crow is actually revered across a number of Asian cultures. In China, it's known as the Jinwu, or golden crow, referring to its place in mythology as a family of 10 birds representing the sun. They each took a turn, pulling a great carriage through the sky, carrying their mother, Shiha. Run for higher ground here. There's a tiger coming straight up behind you, and he knows what you did to his friends. A fine try, Shere can't. They're dead in the wild now. We got ourselves the guardhouse key from the pool down there, which we'll be able to use just up and over the wall. Somebody just locked some shit up and threw the damn thing in the water so it couldn't ever escape. And you're about to see why. Look at the size of that spider. Oh my god, they're everywhere. I'm taken by the thought of some Chinese guard checking into his post here, discovering his severe arachnophobia has been subject to a cruel joke by some bored, mad, bastard Asian god of horror, and he just runs, locks the door behind him, throws the key off the wall, and runs screaming into the distance, never to be seen again. I like how they explode when you kill them too, because of course they're half grenade. This is the same continent that gave us tentacle porn, and that kid from The Grudge that runs around in his underwear wailing like a cat with its balls stuck in the sink. Give it a little credit, why don't you? 3 more turn up here, rappelling into the room like some sort of arachnid special forces team. Although they're just a distraction for the one sneaking up behind you in the corridor you just came from. Ooh, they're wily. Obi-Wan has taught them well. Well enough to kill that poor fool. There's another change with Tomb Raider 2. It's a little bit harder to know whether you've really 100%ed a level now, because your item count isn't listed in your end of level statistics. You still get kills, you still get secrets, but the items have disappeared, and that's largely because, although there are still a number of medipacks and ammo pickups in fixed locations, your enemies now drop supplies for you too, which soon becomes something of a necessity given how much more intensely combat orientated this game is. For the next couple of minutes or so, we are just going to get trapped to death now. Traps everywhere. Death around every corner. And see, this is really the difference between the first and the second game, is that the original Tomb Raider had something of a learning curve in place to ease you in. A horrendously uneven curve, I'll grant you. The transition from Tomb of Qualopec to St. Francis Folly was about as natural as a man-faced pigeon, but think back to how gently the caves eased you into the mechanics, or even how gently the caves set up the storyline, or maybe even how the caves bothered to set up any sort of fucking story at all. Tomb Raider 2 isn't about that. It figures, well, you escaped all the traps in the Great Pyramid, I guess we'll start your new adventure by slamming your bastard face into a few more of those. Then once you get to Venice, and they throw you straight into the cremation oven for your baptism by combat, it's, what are you whining about? Is this that much harder than anything from Unfinished Business? What's that? You never played it because this sequel came out before that expansion pack, or you're just stuck with the console version where it was never released? Well, that's just awful, and I'd like to make it up to you with a complimentary bottle of this here special sauce. I guarantee it will taste absolutely marvellous on your dick sandwich. There we go. Spread it on good. That's it. Take a big bite. Down it goes. Yum yum. All the dicks for you. Well, we barely escaped with our lives, huh? Always a solid quality you want from an introductory level. We're actually more or less at the end of the stage here. There's a zip line straight down to the last area up ahead. But what kind of guide would I be if I didn't take a detour to show you what is easily the greatest and most deeply unhinged part of this entire level. Apart from the exploding spiders, of course, who, whenever I fight them, really make me feel lucky that Tomb Raider is set in a different universe to our own. Imagine having to phone in a bomb disposal team every time you found a cobweb in your house. Saying that, there are such terrors in the world as exploding ants and termites. I use the word terrors loosely there. They're not much of a threat to us as a species. It's not as if we've got, like, nuclear swans drifting down our riverways, eliminating picturesque villages 10 at a time in a radioactive holocaust, but both insects, one of which is a type of carpenter ant, the other a very common species of Vietnamese termite, both utilize their terrible powers by grabbing their enemies in grotesquely oversized mandibles and rupturing their own abdomens to spray them with either deadly poison or a fast-hardening mucus that immobilizes the attackers and releases a pheromone that calls for other, less suicidally inclined soldiers to come and finish the job, and also tell everybody what a big hero it was. Because that's what all termites secretly crave. Attention. Corpses and ominous silence. The theme tune to Nothing Good. And just like that, out of the pitch black comes a giant bastard tyrannosaur looking to add your sorry broken body to her bone garden. Dear God, she's stepping all over me. A T-Rex living quite happily under the Great Wall of China. And I guess that's one way to respond to the criticisms Core got from the first game about sticking gorillas in Greece. I mean, tyrannosaurs were extremely widespread. Their remains have been discovered all over the world, but a lot of the Asian subspecies are distinctive for having strangely shaped or elongated snouts, to the point where the last new one they dug up on a Chinese construction site was nicknamed Pinocchio Rex, before they settled on Shendrosaurus, which seems an awfully mean thing to call it when it's not around to defend itself. Your reward is the last secret of the level that chucks you a goddamn grenade launcher, among other things, but also the angry spouse of the late Mrs. Rex. Why don't we introduce him to our brand new toy? I should be saving this for later in the game, but this is the only place in Tomb Raider 2 that you can explode a T-Rex, so why wouldn't I show you that? My treat, lovelies. The pleasure is mine. Unfortunately, they haven't found any fossilized top hat wearing crickets buried alongside Pinocchio Rex that would have sat upon its shoulder, trying to teach it how to live its life the right way. But if the Disney quiz I took on Facebook yesterday taught me anything, it's to always believe in your dreams, no matter how deeply stupid they might be. And also, that I am Hades, dread ruler of the underworld that always speaks his mind, has a hot temper, and can be defeated only by a warrior of ancient prophecy. I've done what could loosely be described as some research on the matter, and after much deliberation and shouting at Excel for not plotting my pie charts properly, I decided to just Google random well-known martial artists and send hitmen after them. Bruce Lee dies at noon tomorrow. My word, this ladder goes on forever, doesn't it? Where in the fuck did that second T-Rex come from? This is the only way in and out of that cave. What, do you expect us to believe that it climbed down this ladder? With those arms? Please. Zipline time! Zip line, zip. Ah, fuck! Oh, thank God. Thought I'd inadvertently plummeted to the bottom of the cavern there. Before we jump on the zip line, there's a couple more spiders to trigger so that we can get our 100% kill statistic. There should be anyway. Where are you? Oh, okay. You meant to come out of the cave wall, but I guess you can just phase into existence from mid-fucking-air too. That's cool. Jesus Christ. Righto. Chocks away, old boy! Careful not to let go of the action button here, or you'll make a mess. Your pleasant ride is suddenly spoiled by the level fog rolling back to reveal a pair of tigers waiting for you on the other side here. They're usually pretty docile if you land far enough away from them like we have done here. There's a cutscene just through the cave behind them that features a full-blown conversation, and you can have them ravenously chase you to the exact location of it, only to suddenly lose interest the minute you hit the trigger point. There's a campfire to your right you can burn yourself to death on as well, if the madness suddenly takes you. But for the rest of us, here's a tasty bit of plot.
Pardon me, if that was just your way of trying the doors for me.
With a Tommy gun on my keyring.
Though not anymore. So after you.
Somehow, you don't behave like you got a monk's blood.
I understand that somehow is in my favor. So indulge me about the dagger. I'd be indebted with your life.
These doors are waiting for the right one. The right time to arrive. And then the dagger's blade will honor the hearts of those who believe. So unless you pledge your loyalty as well,
And which one is that?
to the sins and fortunes of Marco Bartoli.
Perhaps not just yet, then. Aha, Gianni Bartelli, Via Caravelli, Venice.
Oh, villains of Tomb Raider, when will you teach your minions to lock their laptops? We are indeed off to Via Caravelli, Venice, in the very next episode of Tomb Raider Tuesday, so go take a leak, make some dinner, take a leak on your dinner. I'm not here to judge you or the terrible paths that life has led you down, lovelies. I'm here to show you how to put the Italian mafia in their goddamn place. And why on earth would that be a lesson that you'd want to turn down? Because I've checked my subscriber map, and like 50 of you are from China. By law of statistics, at least one of you's got to be an entry-level triad, haven't you?